got John Duerr with me, and we are just fired up to be a part of Hale Media, working with a couple great Michigan men. Doug Cohen and Chris Howard are putting this together, and it's like coming home. And we're part of a team, dude. I feel like we're part of a team because that's what we are, man. You go to Michigan, you play for the people we play for. You know about the team. What are you thinking, dude?
Yeah, man, I feel like we got recruited, and we just committed to Hale Media. I'm feeling great about being a part of this team. And honestly, it's great. Michigan guys running it, right? You got Tim McCormick doing basketball. You got Chris Howard doing football. You got Maddie Nylon doing basketball. This is really comfortable being with these people. And I hope all of you guys subscribe, like the videos, join the chat. We're hoping for great things.
Yeah, neither of us are the kind of guys that like talking about ourselves, but if you're going to listen to a couple guys talk about football, you should know who they are, what they've done, are they credible. So I'm going to just talk quickly. Played at a great high school program, Warren Woods, won a state championship in 1978, played in the Silverdome, 7 straight shutouts to start the year. So played at a great high school program. Then I had the opportunity to play for the great Bo Schembechler, 1981 to 85. Played 5 years for the General and learned a great deal about leadership and delegation and motivation and organization and just the way he treated people, and just a great opportunity to learn football from him. But also had the opportunity to play for 2 really, really good defensive coordinators. Bill McCartney was just brilliant. I had 1 year with Coach Mack. There's no surprise when people talk about Coach Mack that he went to Colorado and won a national championship. The man was brilliant. I had 1 year with Coach Mack. I had 4 years with Coach Moeller, who was another brilliant football coach. And I will refer to those 2 guys all the time, and Coach Schembechler all the time in analyzing our thoughts, and then I got into coaching and coached 24 years. Did 5 years at Ypsilanti as an assistant, Warren Woods Tower as an assistant, and then defensive coordinator for 5 years at Clintondale. Then eventually the head football coach at Clintondale, and seen it all as a player and coach. And one thing, though, dude, I think my claim to fame, I don't know if there's many Michigan football guys that can say this. I have been to a football practice, at least one per year, since 1980. In most cases, I went to a fall and spring practice. The only year I missed was COVID. So I have been since 1980. I've seen every player, every coach. So I've got that going, but give us the Duerr resume real quick.
So I moved here from California. Went to high school at a small Catholic school in Dearborn, St. Alphonsus, and was recruited by Michigan, but ultimately didn't get a scholarship. But Lloyd Carr came to my high school and talked to my coach and talked to me and said, "We want you to come on as a walk-on." I didn't even know what a walk-on was at the time, to be honest with you. Anyway, I walked on, and for 4 years, I started with outside linebackers with you under Coach Milo Vuletich, who I wish you people got a chance to meet Milo, because he is the most unique coach, funny guy, but man, does he drive a hard bargain. Either you're doing it right, or you're over here on the sideline someplace next to Duerr. So anyway, I moved to inside linebacker, where I was coached for a year by Gary Moeller. He was the defensive coordinator my first 2 years, and then Lloyd was my defensive coordinator and position coach for the last 2 years. So I've had 2 head coaches. Obviously Bo is the head coach, but 2 future head coaches in Moeller and Carr teach me. And I thought Coach Moeller was an excellent teacher, a great coach, and everybody liked to play for that guy. I wouldn't call him a player's coach. He wasn't chummy with players. He was just good. You respected his knowledge, you respected his passion, and you respected his authority. He didn't swear. He tried everything in his power not to swear. He was just a good person and a smart coach. And I really learned a lot from that guy that I carried. I went on to coach. I coached grade school. I coached JV in high school. And then I ended up as the defensive coordinator at Bishop Foley in Madison Heights for a year before I stopped coaching.
You know, we want to get into so many topics, but you thought, I know for me, I thought I knew football, played 11 years, middle school, high school, I thought I knew football until I started coaching. I never forget when the first time I was out there coaching my guys, and now I got to understand so many other things, but I want to tag this up real quick so our listeners know. John Duerr was a highly respected football player at Michigan. There's an award at the end of the year. We call it the Champion of the Year. It's voted on by the players, and it's the guy that everybody respects as the ultimate team guy. And he's not going to be a guy that scores a lot of touchdowns, but he's going to have the ultimate respect. Now, I was already gone, but I know Dew doesn't like to brag about it, but it's a huge honor. And Dew, I think you'll agree with me when I say the ultimate compliment you would want your teammates to say about you in our era was that he was a team guy. That's all I want someone to say about me, is that I was a team guy. That's the ultimate compliment from me. And you were the ultimate team guy, Champion of the Year. I just want to throw that on what you just got done talking about.
I appreciate it, Jim, and I learned most of what I did up in Ann Arbor from you. You were the first guy I walked. I'm telling you, man, I'll tell you this story. In camp, the freshmen show up about 3 days early so they can get acclimated with where you are even at, where your locker's at, where your equipment room's at, where your cleats go. So for 3 days, they give the freshmen a tutorial, an orientation. And then the team comes in. And the first night we had our team meeting, and then we broke up into groups. And I was with the outside linebackers, and Scar was the first guy I met. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm looking at Kevin Brooks over here in the defensive line room and Jumbo Elliott over here in the offensive. And I'm not kidding you. I was this close to calling my parents that night and saying, I am so far out of my depth. You need to come get me. But guys like Scarcelli, they take the young guys, and yeah, they might be a little bit tough at the start, but they want to find out what you're made of. By the end of the time, man, Scar was the one guy that I always remember treats a guy, shoots him straight, and treats a guy fairly if he earns it, and is a friend forever. And here we are 30, 40 years later. Scar's the dude.
Michigan for life, baby. Hey, we are going to cover recruiting. We will cover portal, in and out, recruiting in and out the best we can. We're going to look at talk about the coaches, all the assistant coaches, what we think of them. We're going to be constantly evaluating them. We're going to be constantly looking at the Big Ten. The people we play, we will always emphasize the people that Michigan plays on their schedule. We're going to look at college football. We're going to have film analysis, and that's going to be really, I think that's really where you really separate guys that think they know football, but when you put the film on, then you're exposed. But dude, we're going to jump right in because it's where we want to be next year. The Indiana-Miami game was a hell of a football game. I actually picked Miami to cover. I picked them to cover. Mario Cristobal did a great job getting a defensive coordinator. That was something that he really elevated. Come from a small school. Miami has recruited really, really good players, and he has a hell of a defensive coach who kept them in the game. They didn't really move the ball quite as much on offense like they would have wanted. Indiana is a total. You beat Indiana. They're not going to have the best players. Now, did Indiana have better players than Penn State, than Ohio State? There's a lot of people that probably had the same talent as Indiana. The guy just misses nothing. They don't beat themselves. They don't turn the ball over. They are so smart, and schematically they are a problem on defense. And I'm hoping our coaches are going to be working on what the hell Indiana does, because they do a lot of unique things. But it was a hell of a football game. Indiana made some plays at the end. Their quarterback was outstanding. But I'm glad for the Big Ten. Go talk to me, Du, about that game.
It was a fantastic game, and it looked like Miami was a little bit shell-shocked in the first half. Maybe they didn't think that Indiana was all that, but they found out real quick that they were. What I liked the best was the second half. Miami came out. You can tell that defense made some adjustments, and they got right with God, because they came out with a whole different look and a whole different intensity, and they brought it in the second half. And then you start seeing Bain and the others from that defense wake up. How fundamentally sound Indiana is in every aspect. I love what their defense did in coverage. They disguised their coverage. They brought guys from across, maybe across the hash or from midfield to the hash, and screwed with their quarterback. Why can't I remember his name? Yeah. They just had great coverage. They had great linebacker play. They were tough at the line of scrimmage. Miami needed a 4th and short and barely got it, right?
Yeah.
And so then late in the first half, it's 4th and 2. Cristobal would have gone for 4th and 2 in probably every other game this year, but he knew this isn't everybody else, man. These guys are tough. And then I can't give enough credit to Mendoza. That was probably the most iconic run and score that you'll see. That dive for the end, that was an incredible effort by a guy who good play call, great blocking. I was watching a video of their guys, and they got, Mendoza said, we thought we were going to get that coverage and that look. We got it. We called that play. We ran it. The offensive line blocked it correctly, but he still got hit.
Yeah.
And he bounced off it. He kept off of his knee, turned, dove. They ought to have a statue of that dive parked right outside of a Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, because that will never be forgotten. What a tremendous game. Tremendous play by all of those guys. Cignetti did a great job. His assistants did a great job. Defensive coordinator had a great plan, because Tony is tough to deal with, man. And he woke up in the second half, and right when these receivers were getting the ball, Indiana's defenders, typically the back 7, were right there. Very few guys got the ball and got a chance to run after the catch.
Yeah. You look at he's got so many guys he brought in that were, they 5'9" defensive backs. Okay, they weren't recruited at the big boys said no 5'9", I'm not having it. But what are they? They're players though. They're really good football players. And we're going to get into comparing. That's our next. When we're done here, we're going to look at Whit versus Sig. And Sig, that is one of the most important things in college football now. Back in the day, you just had to have an eye for evaluating 17-year-old kids. Okay, now you have to have an eye for evaluating the kid at James Madison, the kid at UAB, the kid who's played 1 year wherever. And that is a huge skill set that you have to have. And I'm hoping that Indiana loses some coaches. They lost a strength coach, but you win like that. If I'm an athletic director, that's one of the first places I'm going if I'm looking to hire a coach. You want to get somebody from the Cignetti tree right now, but schematically, defensively, they are a problem. And just like you talked about, it's coaching, how he looked at the formation on the fourth down call. But it was a hell of a game. Glad the Big Ten won. Line of scrimmage, that was one loss at the line of scrimmage. But Dick, let's get right into comparing now our guy with Cignetti. What does our guy have to do to beat Cignetti. You know, I was a head football coach, and I knew the top guys that I had to beat. And I would spend all year, the offseason, you know, again, that's the problem that Indiana's going to have to deal with now, okay? Because I know that, you know, we were Michigan. Everybody is working on Michigan, Ohio State year-round when we were playing. Okay, you ain't winning the Big Ten championship if you don't beat Michigan. Okay, so the thing that Indiana's going to have to deal with, people are going to, especially the ones that play them, which we do, people are going to work on your stuff. They're going to work on it year-round. They're going to emphasize it in the spring. What the hell are you doing on defense? And working on it. But when you look at this Whit versus Cignetti, I'd say, okay, here's my first initial observation of this deal. They are both proven coaches, both proven for a long time. Sig did it at a bunch of different places. Our guy did it at one place for a long time, proven. I'd say that's a push. Okay, both proven guys with not great resources that found a way to win. So I'd say that's a push. And now the next thing is finding great assistant coaches, and it looks like it's a push there too. He's had guys with him forever. Whit is bringing guys that have been with him a long time. Our defensive coordinator, he coached, right, dude?
Yeah, they coached together.
He coached them. So proven guy, great staff of guys you know exactly what they bring to the table. Those are the first two I'm going to start with. I'm going to let you go from there.
So the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about Whit going up against Cignetti is just think about this game that we watched on Monday night. How many mistakes were there, right?
Yeah.
There was one mistake that stood out for Indiana, and it could have been super costly. And it was on that 2nd and 1, deep in Miami's territory. And they get that first down, they're going to kneel out the game.
Yeah.
And what do they get? They get a false start. But Miami, they had 2 mistakes, right?
Yeah.
At the block punt, that guy did not do a great job. Their tight end on the line on the punt just kind of 2-hand shivered.
Oh, that rugby punt! What is up with that rugby punt? The guy's running right into it. Don't get me going on that. But go ahead.
Well, you better get used to the rugby punt because we just got a rugby punter. So anyway, so there was that mistake. And then obviously the interception. So what comes to mind? Whit versus Cignetti. Whit's got to have that team prepared, and they have to be on point. They cannot afford to make mistakes. If you make mistakes against Cignetti, they're not going to make them. So if you give them opportunities, a first down or field position or extending drives or a touchdown, you won't come back from that very many times based on what we've seen. So they got to be mistake free. And the other thing is you better bring your chin strap and tighten it down because that guy's team comes at you. They hit, and they're a great tackling team. I was surprised how good they tackled. Really, really fundamentally sound. I like what that guy's doing, man, and I hope we can emulate it.
Yeah, well, we're going to have listen, our offense is going to be different. We're going to see a hell of a lot more quarterback run. Michigan fans have to understand that. I've been looking at film. Whit is from the Urban Meyer tree in terms of running. He wants a quarterback that can run. Urban Meyer won a national championship with 3 different starters, right, that one year, because he wants to run them. So that'll be an interesting twist in attacking what they do on defense. But I look at it with a hell of a lot of confidence when I think about the coaches that were available to bring into Ann Arbor to have to go against Cignetti, and Ward Manuel went and found our guy. I think we did about as damn good as we're going to do. You know, to have a guy that can match Whit's. Because this is when you're a head football coach, it got nothing to do with what kind of player you were. That's irrelevant, man. It's about intelligence. Is my general smarter than their guy? You know, when we played, we ran out and we saw Schembechler there, and we knew damn well our guy is smarter than their guy. So I look at the staff, I look at the proven coach. And now we got to get into the scheme, and we cannot. But you hit it right about mistakes. Even Urban Meyer talked. I listened to Urban today. he talked about Mario's team making mistakes on offense. You know, and that's why I've never been a Mario Cristobal fan, is because he always just make a lot of mistakes. They turn the ball, you know, fumbles. They don't block the right guy. They don't look sharp executing. But when I look at Utah, I see execution. And but in closing on my final thoughts about this thing, I feel really, really confident that we're going to execute and scheme this guy, and we're going to secure the ball, and we're going to give him problems. And we have a guy that is every bit ready and able with the resources we have to compete with Cignetti. So that's my final thought on him. And give me your final thought on that matchup, Duke.
I like Whit, and I love what we were able to. The guys that we were able to reconfirm to Michigan, guys we picked up in the portal. I like that. You know, I think the best way to put it is we have some adults in the room. Now we can, you know, go about this in an adult manner, run this program like it's meant to be run. This is Michigan football, for crying out loud. This isn't some minor league team. All right. And the crap that happened needs to be put in the past, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen again. And it's not happening on Whit's watch. I can promise you that. He is a no BS kind of guy. He's all about business. Get down to business. And in that regard, he's a lot like Cignetti. Okay. Now, they have a few weeks to get some conditioning in. Then we're going to get into spring ball, and he's got to get all of his offense and defense implemented, teach technique, teach the scheme, teach, you know, how the front seven or the back seven and the front four work out. So I like what we got, but man, it's a tall task. Let's not kid ourselves, man. Cignetti just went in 2 years and won a national championship at Indiana, right? So this guy's a good coach, and his players play good football, and his assistants are quite qualified. We have our task cut out for us because not only we have Indiana, now we got Penn State, now we got Ohio State to worry about. Now we got, you know, somebody new at Michigan State. Oregon was in the playoffs. Yeah, it's a tough Big Ten.
Well, it's we're in the weight room. We Whit brought his strength coach with him, so it's different than when we played. You've got 25 new guys came in from wherever. You got dudes that are gone. You got a new strength coach. So everybody's figuring it out. And what was Whit's line? You will become us, right?
Yeah, we will not become you.
Okay, so it starts with the strength coach now. Our players are getting acclimated to the Whit way of doing things. And it's the same weight room, but different. And then guys are stepping up. All them old dudes are gone. Derek Moore's gone. And Nichols, you got to step up. And Sprague, guess what? You ain't no little young freshman, man. You know, these dudes are everybody's stepping up. New strength coach, new dudes coming in. This guy's good. He's been with Whit, so they're unifying that team right now. That is like, I used to love that part as a coach in high school. Getting that weight room going and doing that. You want to hit on some kind of talk about some of the portal guys in and out?
Yeah. Yep.
I know you got a big list there. Let's talk about some guys.
All right. So, well, I think the first thing we want to talk about guys that have announced that they're coming back. And today, it was either today or yesterday, running back Bryson Kuzdzal is coming back. Yeah. Okay. He went in the portal like, I don't know, a few weeks ago or at the beginning of the thing. Michigan picked up a running back out of Oklahoma, Taylor Tatum, right? Yeah. Haynes left the next day. So the running back room looked like Jordan Marshall, Hyder, Tatum, and Kuzdzal probably thought, well, four's a crowd. So he went in the portal. Well, the news today is Taylor Tatum is going to start out on defense. He's not starting at running back. He was the number one running back in his class as a recruit. Went to Oklahoma, played some, but fumbled 4 times, and he got benched. And then he had an injury. All right. So then he's in the portal, and we get him. Well, it turns out they're going to put him in the safeties room And the kid said himself, he says, hey, I play center field. By the way, he's going to play baseball at Michigan. And one of the reasons he got to Michigan is because our baseball coach recruited him and coordinated with football. Hey, there's a two-sport athlete. So anyway, Kuzdzal's coming back. Trey Pierce coming back. Mason Curtis, Cam Brandt, Rod Moore. Rod Moore, man, I hope that this guy, I don't know if we're going to see much of him in spring ball. He's going to have to play some. But I hope that he is 100% healthy for the fall because, man, that guy is a game changer. Shamari Earls, a guy that Charles Woodson tweeted out about a week ago that said this guy could be the best of them all. He really likes Shamari Earls' potential. Dom Nichols.
He's a 6'4". I stood next to that kid. It's amazing how tall he is, for a defensive back.
Yep. Nathaniel Owusu Boateng, we needed him back because we're short on linebackers. Zach Marshall, the tight end. Nate Marshall, the end. Hanson Hogan coming back. Jordan Young, we got him, the DB, safety. So that's good. Jair Hill, Brady Norton, and Lauren Tatar, an offensive lineman that came from a small school last year, went into the portal. Apparently he is out of the portal today, and I think he might be back on the team.
I saw that too.
So that's good. So those are the guys that Michigan retained. The latest on the guys that we got is this Utah athlete, Salisi Moa. So he's technically a transfer, but he's actually a true freshman. He enrolled and was going to class at Utah. And so he had to transfer. And he's transferring. He's coming. We're also going to get his brother, who's a linebacker that played at Michigan State.
You know what that's also do. I'll cut you off, but Whit, I wasn't sure about the Samoan, connection that we would pull that thing back to Ann Arbor, but Whit is doing it, and he, when you get a good number and guys feel comfortable, we can get that train coming to Ann Arbor, man. Yeah. Forget Utah. Come on out here.
It's very much like going to a high school over and over. Say Belleville or Cass Tech or someplace down in Florida. You get a kid out of Florida and he does well up here. All of a sudden, you're getting a bunch of kids from that area.
That's right.
So this is a similar situation. If Moa and Leah, the defensive lineman, if to tackle all these guys, if they have a good experience and success, then yes, that gate will open up and we'll get more of them. We got a linebacker out of North Dakota State. This is Nathaniel Staling. We did get that tight end / wide receiver, JJ Buchanan from Utah. They play him in a slot more. He doesn't put his hand in the dirt very much. You're not going to get, you're not running a zone stretch behind that guy.
He looks like to me like a young Loveland. He's young. Yeah. He is an athletic problem. As a slot guy, eventually he'll get bigger and stronger. We can bring him in, but what I notice about Whit, he doesn't try to put that square in the circle in the hole. You know what I mean? Oh, no. It's like this dude says, "Okay, I'm not going to put some guy there that can't block at the end of. I'm going to put a 300-pound defensive tackle there. When we look at this film, you're going to see 300-pound dudes that are literally in the program as defensive tackles." So Whit doesn't try, and I actually kind of like that, respect that. He's like, I'm not going to take Colston Loveland and put his hand on the ground, and we're never going to run to him, which we did in the past. But that's what Buchanan is. He's more of a split-out guy, and that's that.
We can't stress enough how much we improved the wide receiver and the receiving core, and we'll get to that when we talk about the potential starting lineup. Keeping on with who we got, Christian Pierce, Western Illinois. It's Trey Pierce's brother.
Yeah.
So you want to keep Trey Pierce around? Bring his brother in. Yeah. We got a big offensive lineman, Houston. I can't say his middle name, Torres. He came out of Nebraska. We got a long snapper. Got a quarterback, Colin Hurley. He came out of LSU. We got a DB, Chris. Now this guy, man, keep your eye on this cat, Chris Bracey, out of Memphis. This was a super quiet commitment. Like he had Michigan in his whatever top this or that. And then the next thing you know, he's committed and it caught everybody by surprise and nobody really. This kid is a player, man. And I think he's going to start next year.
Yeah.
Got linebacker Max Alford. He was with BYU. He's Tony Alford's nephew. So this one's interesting. Quarterback Braden Fowler Nicolosi. He came out of Colorado State. The guy played for 2 years there. But he hasn't been officially announced by Michigan, and he has not signed whatever necessary paperwork there is to be an official transfer. So what does that mean?
Oh, wow.
Is he looking someplace, or is Michigan looking for somebody else? So keep your eye on that. Right now, he committed. He said he committed. So that's a fluid situation. Could change.
That's kind of discouraging because that was something that really gave me a lot of comfort because I've watched that kid play. He went in there and battled prime in some big games. He's a guy who has started 28 games. So that's something I'd like to get real, solidified.
Well, I don't think they're replacing him with somebody. I wouldn't say replacing. From what I'm hearing, there's some interesting name out there that could be a very welcome addition, a guy who has a lot of experience.
Okay, because, you look at what Lane Kiffin did at Ole Miss. Okay, he loses his starting quarterback, but, again, this is the sign of a great leader. Your second-string guy is this kid from Ferris State who gets you to the playoff. So that's what we want from our guy to get the 105 toughest, baddest, nastiest, build depth at every damn position. So because 15, 16 games, these guys played 16 games. You got to have bodies, man. You got to have depth and competition.
100%. All right. Jamie French, wide receiver out of Texas. Smith Snowden, cornerback out of Utah. DL John Henry Daly. I was watching him on the Utah BYU game just before we got on to here. If that guy's healthy, we're in great shape. Jonah Liea, Braden Alford, another Alford family member. And we talked about the other guys. We did get a kicker, Trey Butkowski, and punter Christopher Brown. All things considered, this was a hell of a job by Whit, retaining the number of guys that he did, and he kept that offensive line intact, except for Ty Haywood. He kept everybody intact, and I can't express how important that is because the offensive line is the absolute key to our success on offense next year. And we got basically 2 deep. We have 10 guys.
Yeah.
Right. And there are 10 experienced guys, many of them who have started. So Jim Harding is going to have his hands filled with great clay to mold. And I look forward to that because that's going to be what drives wins and losses. That and that embrace.
Yeah, I'm looking at that Utah film, man. I really see offensive line well coached, executing. Yeah. Did you want to spend a little more time on the offensive line today, Duerr? Or you want to?
Yeah. No. Let's talk
that'll be the one position group because I'll tell you, there's some names there's some guys that I'm really high on. And you try to say, okay, what would our starting lineup look like? I'm gonna throw something out. I think Guarnera, you'd have to say he's probably going to be our starting center because that's been the you got to right tackle Sprague. I think in general we're going to trim these guys up a little bit. Sprague is the right tackle. Left tackle, it's going to be a battle between Babaloa and Link. How do you see that?
So Babalola's going to have a big spring. He's got to have a big spring. Obviously coming off a knee injury, so he's got he's playing from behind. Let's put it that way. I am not convinced that Link is going to be your left tackle. I think they might move him inside because you have Frazier, and Frazier started a lot of games.
So it'd probably be you know how that it's going to which of them guys is a better guard, Frazier or Link? That's how the coaches will look at it, in terms of because I had to make those decisions. You want to get your best 5 players out there.
Absolutely.
And so, Frazier, Link, Babaloa, and I'm big on this Avery Gatch kid. I saw him play in high school. I think that kid is going to be a guy that people are going to be hearing about. I just think he's an athletic, tough, nasty kid, smart kid. Believe me when I tell you, be looking for that name. But I think the one, so really the only 2 things we can take a real solid is Sprague at right tackle and Guarnera at center. Other than that, it's like we got a battle for some other positions.
Right. Yeah, we do. However, it's not like you're going in with a bunch of people that you haven't heard of. You're not banking on hope. You're banking on, hey, we've got Link, who's started a lot of games. We've got Frazier, who started a lot of games. We've got Afobe, who started games. We have Brady Norton, who started games. You got this kid out of Nebraska, Torres. So you have a nice choice of guys to select from. Everybody wants to talk about Babalola, but I just, I always look at it like, hey man, first of all, he didn't get a single down last year while these other guys were kind of lapping him because they're getting more and more experience. But you're coming off a knee injury, and he's a big dude, man. So so it's going to take. He's obviously a talented guy. Let's see if he can catch up. Yeah,
he's. I met him. I shook his hand. He's every bit of 6'6", smart, highly educated kid. And the bottom line is, like I said, dude, you bring in as many big, strong, fast dudes, and also I think there's going to be a bigger premium on athleticism and the ability to pull things. Because we're going to look at some film here in a minute, and you're going to see a lot more pulling and guys being asked to do things athletically that our other coaches didn't do. Dude, I'm going to switch over. I think I'm going to switch over and look at. We're going to look at some film.
Okay.
We're going to look at Nebraska, Utah. We're just going to look at the Utah offense. Shout out to our friends at Quick Cut. Give us this film here. It's a great tool to look at film. I wish I had it when I was coaching. This is a great deal. But anyway, here's their first play. This is Utah's offense. Get used to this, folks. Get used to a lot of empty, a lot of formations. So this is QB run, first play of the game. And this dude right here, again, I love it. I keep saying Wink. Whit, he's like, hell with it. I'm putting a 300-pounder here, man. I'm not, he might throw one pass to him all year. But here's the first play of the game, and let's see what they run. They got a little motion, and there's a lot of conflict, man. You got to look right now where the ball is, dude. You got the mesh point. You've got passes here that the defense has to honor. There's conflict all over the field. You've got to honor jet. You've got to honor. So these guys have to play jet sweep over here, and you've got to play the quarterback in the middle, and you've also got to defend quarterback power over here. And I think they're running quarterback power away.
Yeah. It's a zoo going on back there.
So there's a whole lot of conflict there that these people have to deal with, and that's again. But your quarterback is running the football, so I like this stuff. Nebraska defends a little bit, but there's a lot of conflict there. And again, this dude right here, I looked at this 49. He's listed as a defensive tackle in the program. So Whit just says, the hell with it. I'm not putting some damn imposter there. He's blocking, okay? This guy's blocking.
Well, they have the other guy, number 99 there, and that might be the most athletic 300 and plus something.
I know. Don't be surprised if you see a guy like Babalola or Gatch or one of those dudes with a 49 or a 7, an 80 number on. Don't be surprised if you see one of those dudes. But here's something.
I'm going to be surprised.
Yeah. Again, this is the stuff that we didn't ask our guards, our people to do this, but here's a one-back set. And look what we're asking this guard to do. Pull out here and reach a guy. That's not something we asked our guys to do. So I keep saying it. I think you're going to see a real premium on the ability to move with our offensive linemen. This is not something we had asked our guys to do in the past. But you can see Bryce completing that stuff, getting them rolling out. Just a couple plays I want to look at, You want to, give a comment on something?
No, that is different than, everybody that we pulled them within a phone booth.
Yeah.
And, some haven't, but that, that offensive guard that we just watched pull way out there, it's super athletic guy.
Yeah, our guys are athletic enough to do it, but, a 320-pound kid, I don't know, but that's why I think you might see some guys trim down. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
But here's QB run. Again, this is the third play of the game. He's ran his quarterback. Again, jet motion, so they got to honor jet, and they're running another form of quarterback power. But, they ran the quarterback 2 out of the first 3 plays of the game against Nebraska. So get used to that. Bryce Underwood, you're going to earn your money this year, man. You're going to take some hits. We're going to run the football. And this the guy we got right here, right? 81 is the kid we got.
Buchanan.
Yeah, that's the kid we got coming. So here's quarterback, form of a quarterback trap power. And I think he's pulling a tackle there. Or guard, he's pulling the backside guard. Just get an idea. Look at some more film. Here's
Got an interesting question in the chat, Jim, when you're done.
Okay, we see a lot of this stuff from our offensive coordinator is Beck, right? I see a lot of stuff with the running backs doing this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Running around, back and forth, messing with the defense, faking the jet. Anyway, good stuff. All the little things that create confusion.
Yeah.
These are little things that give problems to defenses. You want to throw that question out? Go ahead, dude.
Well, it has to do with recruiting, and I don't know if you want to wait until we're done watching a little bit.
Yeah, well, let's just wait till we're done. We'll hit whatever questions we have.
Yep.
They're near the goal line here. And now they're pulling a tackle here.
Okay.
All right. Again, this kid is listed as a D tackle, and they're pulling a tackle here. We didn't do a ton.
It's a long pull, and he doesn't hit anybody.
You know why guys pull tackles sometimes do? Because a lot of teams are keying guards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of teams' defenses, these linebackers are keying these guys. So when you pull tackles, people aren't keying that as much. That's one of the reasons I know in high school.
This guy runs completely to the other end, and I wonder what that was for.
Yeah, let's see here. Now we get into our stuff. Michigan people are familiar with this. This is our stuff, but here's at number 99. That's a 300-some-pound kid. They're in eye backs. He's under center, so that is it's in the playbook. And he's got his quarterback keeping it on an empty here. It's just something Bryce could do. Eye backs. Again, I said Bryce is going to earn his money, man. Going to take some hits.
Fake. All right, yeah.
How many times this is the first series. How many times the quarterback carried the football so far?
I know, man, and that's a concern. I got to tell you that.
I understand it, but that's what he believes in. And I'm all good with it as long as you got 3 guys that can, you have decent confidence in. If you got to have some bodies that you feel confident with as a coach.
Yeah.
2 more plays and we're done. Let's see what we got here. Footwork, offensive line. I really like this guard. I'm going to tell you, when I looked at Indiana, when Cignetti first got the job that spring, when I looked at them in their spring game, this is what I said. If you look back at the video, I said, they don't look like they have the best players, but I could see they know what the hell they're doing. They block with good technique. They know what, the pads are low. They block the right guy, and great technique and execute. So when I'm looking at Utah, that's what I want to see. I want to see great technique with execution. And that's what you're seeing from that guard there in the offensive line. And then one more play and we're done.
Yeah.
Just get a little taste what we're going to see. Here's some option. I like this. I hated defending it. I hated defending option with the one back set. It's just tough. You got blockers. You block down. You option this guy. Let's see how they're blocking it. Exactly like I said.
Football, man. I always thought that the option was pretty thanks to Moeller, Coach Moeller, I remember him saying this: assignment football, option football. We can handle it if everybody does their job. You're not responsible for anything else other than your job.
You know why I like seeing this from Whit a couple times, maybe once a half, twice a game, whatever, is because when you know this, dude, when you're coaching defense and you're playing defense and they have this play in, you have to be thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's part of your mental assignment pre-snap. You know, you're always kind of thinking about this damn play. And anyway, we run it. They don't. The kid drops the ball, but I just wanted to take a quick look at that. And we wanted to keep it at 45 minutes or so, but this is our first episode. We're going to keep getting better. Subscribe. We want to be fair to Michigan. We want to evaluate our players and coaches honestly, fairly. But we love Michigan, and we're going to fight for Michigan. And I'm fired up to be working with Doug Cohen and Chris Howard and all the Hale Media crew. That's my last comment due. I'm fired up. Be looking for us probably on. It's going to be 8 o'clock-ish on Mondays. You know, we don't want to be when Michigan's playing. Mondays might be good days, but that's kind of where we're at. That's my final thought, due.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here doing this with you. I look forward to watching this whole Whit regime unfold. And, man, it's just about 8 months before toe meets leather. So it's going to fly by, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's go blue.
All righty. Go blue!